You know, the times, you know, you got jobs and you get laid off and the economy's here and it's hard to get a job and you thinking, hey, how am I going to make it tomorrow?
So this was, do you think this was your brothers? Like they had it, this in them?
Oh, yeah. Well, much, you know, we raised in a household. We all got 7 boys, but like all got different personalities.
Right.
But the basics is stamped on everybody. You know, the basic thing. So we all was raised by the same parents. Um, so my thing was to how am I gonna, as we used to call it back in the '60s, how am I going to get over? You know. And one of the scariest things that I ever had happen to me when I was a young man was to get laid off on a job. And I had children to feed, had rent to pay, had a wife to provide for. And that was always been my biggest motive to provide for my family. You know, family, and I mean family, you know, even the extension, it starts little, but it grows big.
Right,
you know?
right.
So yeah, I always felt like I always had to do something, you know, and in the process of doing that, I just learned how to do a whole lot of different things. You know, because the situation in the '60s, yes, you know, I was militant, you know, militant, you know, it needs a little clarification. Militant means that you're ready. Not that you're just mad and you want out and fighting everybody because you got a hostility built up in you. Not that type of militant. But militant that just say, I'm ready to stand up and fight for what I believe in. You know, I'm willing to sacrifice whatever I got to sacrifice in order to get what I want and what I believe in. And I never did have a lot of dealing with a lot of Caucasian people, anything like that. I mostly stayed in the black neighborhood and with black businesses, black customers, you know, in that situation. But I did have a animosity because I was raised in the South, you know, and I've been looked at and scorned at, you know, and pushed off side the street like everybody else has, you know, rocks thrown at you and whatnot, where you got to go in the back door and all that old kind of stuff. Well, I went through that, so it creates a certain amount of hostility.
Was that more in the 50s or was that more in the 60s?
Well, that was more in the latter part of the 50s.
The 50s.
Moving into the 60s.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I went through the same thing everybody else went through. And but I was always willing to think that there was nobody on the planet that could do something that I couldn't do. If somebody was doing something, then that means if I knew what they were doing and learned how to do it, I could do it just as well as they could. That's always been my attitude. That's my attitude then. That's my attitude now. You know, and being in that frame of mind, it came to me that the best thing that you can have going for you is education. You know, learn something. You know, a lot of people think you got to go to this place or that place or this place to get an education, but you don't have to do that. You know, all you have to do is be aware. All you have to do is stop, look, listen, pay attention, and learn. You know. You don't have to, you know.
You don't have to go to schools,
you know, well,
universities, things like that.
You can get that recognition. I don't have any great credentials to tell a person my intelligence. You understand? I ain't got no paper, but I can compete. I can compete well. You know, I impress them. They don't impress me.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
I know that's right.
And you know, just like, you know, I used to be radical to a certain extent, you know, despise the opposite people that wasn't of my race, you know, whether they was Hispanic, Jews, Caucasian, or whoever, you understand, just the way you come up.
Yeah. Do you think that if you did not have that push, not from push of good push, but a push like being held back, do you think that contributed in your aggressiveness to be who you wanted to be?
Most definitely.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. You know, don't tell me what I can't do.
Okay. All right. Hold that thought. Okay. Cordell. All right. You grew up in the same time, right? But
Yes,
you and your brother, pretty much, you were brothers, but it's like, you know, you're different. You had your own thing that you were going through. Could you explain during that time, like between the later part of the 50s and up into the 60s, I don't remember when you said that you graduated, but I know that you said you went to Job Corps. How did that play a role in living in the atmosphere that you was living in, as far as 50s and 60s and this being emancipated or getting your freedoms and all this other stuff? How did that play? How did you handle yourself during that time?
Well, I don't know too much about the 50s. I was only 5, you know. 55
Oh, okay.
to 60, I was 5.
Oh, okay.
But during the 60s.
During the 60s, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to school, of course, an all-black school in Memphis, Tennessee, right?
Okay.
1967, moved to Louisville, Kentucky. For some reason, there was a black school here and a white school here. Guess where I went? They put me
in the white school.
All white school. Okay, before I left Memphis, I couldn't wait to get up and go to school. You know, and actually, I was actually being educated. When I went to all this all white school, things began to change.
When you say change, what you mean change?
It seemed like
they changed or you changed?
Couldn't quite get it.
You couldn't get it.
Things really began to change.
Was it explained to you why this was going on? To help comfort you?
No, nothing that was explained to me, but it seemed like it was that what you were saying about during the relative times of the, you know, the...
During them times, right, the 60s.
It was still there.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, we don't even see you. You are invisible.
So that's where you were treated when you went to school?
And I became radical.
Oh, okay. So you became...
And
you could identify with your brother then?
Right.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And
So you was in the school with mostly...
It was 2 blacks in the school. Me and my other brother, which is no longer with us, Michael Leon Travis. And he was the same way I was, only worse. More physical with it.
So you actually physically gotten threatened, and did anyone ever put their hands on you?
No, no one ever put their hands on me. I'm talking for the educational thing. It wasn't there.
I don't understand. When you say it wasn't there.
The teaching was not there like I had.
So they didn't reach you?
In all black school.
They couldn't reach you?
I couldn't get it.
You couldn't get it?
I'm serious.
Is that, it wasn't really like a hate thing from white and black hate thing?
I believe it was, I believe it was. I really believe it was.
Were you able to express that? Like, you know this, or did you just know something was happening and you didn't know what it was, and you were just like in the dark and didn't have a clue, but now that you look back, you say, well, this is what was really going on.
What was going on is that I wasn't wanted there.
Okay. Oh, did they make it known to you at that time that they didn't want you there?
I knew this.
You knew that.
And that's how I went to job. I wound up in Job Corps.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
And after everything all said and done, when I left Louisville, Kentucky, and I began to have children, I made sure that they was going to get their education. And they was not going to be moved around from place to place in different schools and all this kind of stuff. That they was going to, you know, get there.
So when you raised your family, you made sure that they stayed put.
Exactly.
All right. So how long have you stayed in the area that you stay in right now?
See, I moved to Amarillo, Texas in 1985.
1985. How old was your youngest son at that time? If just a ballpark, what grade was they moving? You know, what grade were they in?
Elementary school, around 5 or 6. My oldest is 28 now, to give you an idea.
But he wasn't your youngest.
That's the oldest.
He was like 5 or 6. Okay, so he hadn't really started school. So you've been in Amarillo pretty much throughout his entire
life.
In his entire life.
Yes.
Educational background. Okay. And do you think? Well, you just said that your past experience helped set your mindset on staying put. Right. Okay. Was there any other reason? Why did you move to Amarillo?
Well, actually, I had no plans on moving to Amarillo. My mom and dad was living in Dallas, Texas. I got a phone call that he was being transferred. You just know he's a minister.
Right.
To Amarillo, so someone had to move him.